Everyone, welcome back to our channel StartupLanes.com. I am Tanvi, and as you know that these are the series of interviews that we are conducting for the Startup of the Month. In today's interview, we have Mr. Prashanta Kumar, who is a postgraduate in economics and inventor who has 4 published patents under his name. Started on 1st of August 2020, registered startup with DPIIT, ISO and C certified. Volant Motors is the product name. First electronic cycle the world over which allows for finance riding, hill riding, off-road riding and city riding all rolled into one. So let's jump into the interview directly. So good evening. I am Tanvi from StartupLanes, and we are thankful to have you on the board for this interview.
Thank you so much, Tanvi. Thank you for inviting me for the interview.
So I would request to introduce yourself to our viewers, please.
My name is Prashant, and I have been associated with research, and I have 4 patents under my name. And at the moment, currently, I am the founder and CEO of Voltron Motors Private Limited, which has come out with the Voltron electric bike, cycle, and that is about it.
Yeah, so great. So my very first question to you is that how did you come up with this idea of startup?
I would say necessity is the mother of invention, and which holds true for us also. We were actually working on a motorcycle, and the day we finalized the entire thing, the day after that, the first lockdown happened. And we are a bootstrapped startup, so we were actually caught up and we did not know what to do after that. So then we thought of coming out with something which is less capital intensive and which does not require approvals from the government. So that is when the Voltron electric cycle was born.
Okay, so at the early stages of your journey, what was the difficult part that you've gone through?
Difficult part essentially because we are bootstrapped and we had spent a lot of money into our motorcycle project. The difficult part was essentially getting the funds, being able to get sourcing, getting the stuff, because cycles was not a trade that we were into motorcycles. So understanding the entire ecosystem of electric cycles, organizing for funds, getting a prototype ready, and then when we actually got the prototype ready, then we took the feedback from a lot of people, people who were actually into this trade, and we were given a thumbs down by them in terms of the way the cycle looks, because it is a crossover between a cycle and a scooty. So we wanted it to have a different look. We did not want it to look like a cycle. We did not want it to look like a scooty. So it has a special look, and we were given a thumbs down by a lot of people saying this is not going to be accepted by the market, kind of a thing. So that was another thing that you had to deal with, because we were convinced and sure that we wanted it to have that look, because we were dealing in a completely new space, a space which was empty, a space which needed to be filled. But then we went ahead with our gut feeling, and thankfully people have accepted it with open arms, and we are very thankful to them and happy about it.
Okay. Sir, as you mentioned that you are in an established market, so what is the gap that you identified?
When we started thinking about developing this, we actually thought of looking at the market of electric cycles. And what we found out was that the adoption of electric cycles in India was very, very low. And Hero Electro was able to sell about 7,000 cycles only last year. So we actually wondered as to why the adoption was so low, despite the fact that it was such a beautiful thing in terms of utility and in terms of economics also. So what we found out was these electric cycles which are there, they have a very limited range. In terms of they have a range between 25 to 35 kilometers on a single charge. So that led to a range anxiety in people because if you can go up to 35 kilometers and you can't use it to go to your office, or a person doing a sales job can't use it, or somebody who does documentation, document collection can't use it. And so we thought we'll increase the range. So we increased the range to 100 kilometers on a single charge. Now, another problem that we saw was that none of these cycles had sufficient power to be able to carry two people. All of these cycles were meant for a single person to ride it. Now, we are PMs, we like company. So we said we'll give a pillion riding option also. So we used the mid-drive motor technology and we gave the pillion riding option also. So two people can ride the cycle at the same time. The total load bearing capacity of the cycle is 140 kg, which is the highest in its class. Generally, these cycles have a load bearing capacity of about 85 kg. Now, another gap that we found was that, see, let's say if you wanted to use these cycles for delivery, like we are having a talk with Zomato at this point in time. So they are essentially looking at a range of about 100 kilometers when they are using these cycles. So that was a major limitation what was there, which was stopping people from adopting these cycles. Another problem was that all these cycles have been built in such a way that they can be used only by men.
Okay.
So we wanted to have a design which was unisex, wherein women could also use it. And women constitute almost 50% of our population. So if you are taking something away from 50% of the population, then the adoption as it is has to be very, very low. And another thing which came to our mind was because all these electric cycles which are coming up, nobody is actually focusing on the hinterland for the rural areas, where there is a huge market and where there is a huge need. And this vehicle can actually become a vehicle of social change. So I belong to a village, a small village in Bihar. The name of the village is Prayagraj. Now that is about 25 kilometers from the closest city, which is Muzaffarpur. So I had an experience. So what I realized was, if a person wants to go from my village to Muzaffarpur, which is a regular kind of a thing because you have to go to the city to get stuff, he has to wait for a bus. Then he boards a bus, and then he has to bear the brunt of the push and hush in the bus. He reaches the city. Then he has to take something else, some other means of transport to go around to do his thing. Then he has to wait again for a bus to come, take it and come back. And in this entire process, he spends about close to 150 rupees. And the hassle is separate. So we wanted to come out with something which could solve the problem of these people as well. So he can pick up the cycle whenever he wants to. He can straight away go, do his work, come back. So, and I'm delighted to share with you the fact that the cycle has reached remote places like Sherghati in Gaya, and which is a small town, a village. It has reached Bandipur in Rajasthan, which is a tribal area, and people are elated and happy to be using it. And we have a lot of inquiry from these areas. So, and see, actually, the idea of a product is not only to sell a product in terms of profit. It should actually serve a greater purpose in terms of what impact it has on the society as a whole. So our idea of developing the Voltron cycle was that.
Okay. Sir, as we are talking about the product, I would like to know your business model in detail.
We do it both ways. We have dealers which we have appointed, started appointed. So we do not have too many of them. We have appointed one in Nagaland, and name is Innocent, and fantastic person. He is taking care of the entire Northeast for us.
Okay.
We have one in South India, Mr. Goda, and he will be doing the entire South for us. We have a dealer at Bhatinda. We have We have two dealers at Mumbai at the moment. One is at Parel and one is at Vasai.
Okay.
And we have started appointing dealers. We give it directly to the customers who book it through our website. Website, and it has reached almost all the corners of the city, right from Dharwad to Kanyakumari to Jammu, and we have a couple of inquiries from Ladakh also. Because of the lockdown, we have not been able to prepare that.
Okay.
Because this is the only cycle in India that can be used for hill riding. We have a dealer at Dehradun also.
Okay.
No other cycle can actually climb hills. This can climb hills purely on the throttle mode. It can climb flyovers purely on the throttle mode. So, which means that generally electric cycles need to be pedaled along with the throttle for these purposes. So, only if a person is fit can be used it. Compared to that, this cycle can be used by just anybody. A mother can use it to go and drop a child to school and get the child back. A father can use it, or a mother can use it for going to the office and coming back. Because you don't have to pedal it. The pedaling is an option. So if you are wanting to use it as a fitness, for the purpose of fitness, then you can pedal it. But then if you want to use it for other purposes, then you use it like a scooty. You switch it on and you turn the throttle and there you go. So, so that was the basic idea.
Great, great. Sir, as you mentioned before that your company is a bootstrap company. So I would like to know that in the initial stages, did your friends and family help you in funding?
Oh, a lot.
Great.
I say, and that is something which since you are asking me, I would say that family is something which I think is something which people should cherish, value, and be thankful that you have such a great family which holds you together. And it is not only about money. It is about the moral support that they give you, the belief that they have in you. I have been very fortunate in terms of the fact that my parents, my in-laws, and my friends have been very, very supportive. And my wife has been like a solid rock behind me. And I have two children, a son and a daughter, Chaitanya and Devina. They are like my reboot button. And they all believe in you so much that it propels you to do whatever you want to.
Yes, sir. So I would like to know that did you ever, went for investors and yes, then how did you identify them?
I did. In fact, there were a lot of people. We were covered in the Better India, and after that, there were a lot of people who approached me for the investment. And but unfortunately, none of them could materialize because of one reason or the other. So at that point in time, I decided that I would not dilute the equity at this point in time. I would wait for a little more time, let the product be there a little more, and after that, probably think about shedding of some equity. And now we are at a stage wherein Voltron has become a little visible, and people have begun to recognize it, and people have begun to use it, and people have begun to appreciate it, and the market has started expanding. So at this point in time, the tentative valuation of the company is about 64 billion. And we are wanting to diversify our portfolio in terms of the fact we want to come out with another attachment with the cycle, which would enable people to carry up to 300 to 500 kgs of load, so that it becomes a medium of commercial kind of a vehicle. But then again, it won't require any license or registration, so that everybody can use it. We have been receiving a lot of inquiries for a tricycle from the elderly people and from people who are handicapped. So we want to come out with a tricycle. So at this point of time, yes, we are looking at investment because you need when you want to diversify and scale up, then money is the moolah.
Yes. So, sir, in this situation, how are you contacting the investors or finding the investors?
I somehow I have not been contacting anybody as of now, and people have been contacting me. But then the people who have contacted me are small investors. So, and those small investors don't serve the purpose that we want the funds for. So, we are waiting for somebody who has deeper pockets to come and join us.
Yeah, yeah, I understand. Sir, as we are talking about the future, I would like to know that what are the factors that you think will impact your business in the long term, in the coming years?
See, there is the most expensive component of this industry, the EV industry, is the battery. There is a lot of research that is happening on the battery, and there are a lot of startups in India who are working tirelessly on the battery technology. And I think very shortly we would be able to come out with carbon and sulfur battery. And these are going to be much cheaper. They have a higher power density, and they are recyclable. So unlike the lithium technology that we are using now, it is quite expensive because we are dependent on imports, and they are quite expensive. They are not recyclable. So I think that is going to bring about a sea change in the industry, and this is the industry of the future. You can call it a sunrise industry because gradually, see what happens is the climatic conditions that we are faced with, and we do not have an option but to move towards them.
Yeah.
With the price of petrol and diesel touching the sky, and it is gradually going to become unaffordable for the common man. And this is where the electric EV sector comes in. It makes it cheap for you to on a regular basis, and it does not harm the environment in any way. And it is something which is affordable. Gradually, it will become affordable because people like us, there are other companies that are there. We want to give actual value to the customer for the money that we spend.
Sir, as you said that you're planning to expand and grow, so I would like to know that are you planning to hire fresh talents in your company?
Of course, we are looking at that. In fact, I had an interview with a lot of people, but unfortunately, I would say nowadays people are more into tech rather than into hardcore manufacturing or production. And so that is a gap which I think we are facing at this point in time, because see what happens is in this kind of an industry, and when you are wanting to innovate in some way or the other, then you need people who are ready to work hands-on and who are ready to learn the ropes of the thing with a basic background as to what you want them to have. Now, I have spoken to a lot of people, and I'm still looking out, and I definitely am looking for fresh talent to come in and give a boost to the company because we gradually have to have a team in place for it to.
Yes. So what are the traits you are looking for? Like as you said, you have been interviewing people. So what are the traits you look for in fresh talents?
I am not looking at any specific trait. I just want the person to be open, honest. In terms of the fact, I'll tell you, I had an interview with a couple of people and I asked them as to what projects they had done in their final year. Now they had done various projects. So when you ask them about the project, they are not even clear on the project that they have done. That is something which is not acceptable.
Yeah.
If I have done a project, but there was one of them who had done a project on an electric cycle. So I asked him the rating of the battery that he used. He did not give the rating of the battery. He said, sir, I forgot. then I told him, I said, this is something that you can't forget. If you have done it, you will remember it all your life. Even if I shake you up from your sleep, you will be able to tell me that. So I want people who are honest with us. If you have not done it, you tell me that I have not done it. I am not holding it against you. I will not hold it against you that you have not done it. At least you have to honestly tell me I have not done it.
Yeah.
So I am essentially looking at people who are honest, but who are ready to work on the ground and learn.
Okay. Sir, as you mentioned that you are the CEO of your company. So I would like to know that according to you, what are the personality traits of a good leader?
I think a leader should, I wouldn't call a founder or a CEO a leader because you only conceive something and there are a lot of people involved who finally bring it to shape. And there are a lot of people involved who actually bring it to the market. And I think the first thing that you need to do is you need to understand the value of labor. And when I say you need to understand the value of labor, I would relate this to the previous question that you asked me. I think it is important that you do it yourself so that you understand what it takes to do it. And only then can you appreciate what another person is doing for you.
So a leader should get into the shoes of laborers and know that what they're going through.
Exactly, and you should value that. You should respect that. Another very important thing that I see lacking nowadays is that if I'm the boss, I think I can scream at anybody. Now, I don't think that is correct. I think a leader should be able to respect people who are working for them so that they respect you. Because respect is not something that you can demand, you have to command it. So, in my organization, there is a very simple rule. I say, if I am not going to abuse anybody, and if you find me abusing anybody, then you have entitled to abuse anybody. Otherwise, nobody has to abuse anybody at all. And if I see anybody abusing, you are out the same day.
Okay. Okay.
All right? We need to develop a culture where you respect each other, because all of us are doing something with a common goal, with a common agenda. And everybody's effort and work is equally important.
True.
Right? So that is something that has to be kept in mind when you per se lead an organization. But then I think it is a team which does it. There is no individual who can accomplish anything.
Yes, sir. Give and take should be maintained. It's true. So, what is the good part and what is the bad part of being a CEO?
I can see only good parts of being a CEO because you get to live your dream.
Yeah.
And you get to do and things the way you want to. And the best part is that if there is something good which happens, it's on you. If there is something bad which happens, it's again on you. So I think
that would be the best. That would be the bad part.
So there can be nothing better than that, and fair. And I think it is a very good thing to be in, a position to be in, and I am loving it.
So your smile says that. True. Yeah. So my next question to you is that describe a time you had to make a tough decision like budget cuts or organizational reconstruction or market withdrawal, etc.
We started off by doing that because we were into the motorcycle project. We had to shelve the motorcycle project, and that was a very difficult decision to take because that is something which we had been working on for about almost 2 years. And after it came to shape, we had to shelve it. So that was a very, very difficult decision. And But then that decision had to be taken because we did not have the financial backing to take it to. Because building a motorcycle is a very capital intensive process.
Okay.
So that is one decision that hard decision, a tough decision that was to be taken if we took. And thereafter, we kept our labor force very thin
Okay.
because again we were cutting edges at all points. So we kept that very thin. We developed prototype. We started going into the market, and then gradually we increased our labor force. So we are the genesis of taking tough decisions.
Okay. So what is the result now? I mean, you did took the decisions. What are the results now?
I think it was a correct decision to take, and that is one of the reasons that I believe in destiny more now. Because and when I hear people say that I did this, I am actually amused because we actually don't do anything. We just work, and destiny has its own way, and destiny has its own path,
True.
and destiny takes you there. So I think we have been sincere in the effort that we have been putting in. We have been honest, and consequently, we have been blessed with the situation that we are in now.
Okay. Sir, are you looking for any vendors to help you simplify any part of your business?
So we have actually, see, I'll tell you something. When we were making this cycle, then another thing that we realized, I forgot to mention to you, was that these cycles had specialized components and specialized gear trains and stuff. Now, which used to make it difficult for the customer when it came to the point of servicing it. And because they used to be dependent on the company for the spare parts and stuff. So what we did was we used all the regular cycle spare parts that are used for making this cycle. So consequently, at the end of it, it became very easy for the customer to get it serviced or to get it repaired, and all the components are available off the shelf. So a person does not depend on the company. He can take it to any cycle repair shop, get his cycle repaired if there is the chain which gets loose, or if there is a problem with the brake or anything of that kind. So there are actually plenty of vendors who are already into this, Ludhiana being the hub of the market. So at the moment, I don't think we need vendors, any specialized vendors for making anything for us as of now. Maybe in the future.
Yeah. So my last question to you is that what are your recent and long-term goals for your startup?
We, as I told you, we want to come up with a tricycle.
Yeah.
Which is targeted at the elderly and at the handicapped people. We want to move into a cargo kind of contractor, which is going to help people lift heavy loads by using an attachment along with the cycle. Now, that essentially is targeted at, you see these Thela-walas which are there, who cycle and carry very heavy loads. So we want to keep it in the price range of about 50,000 rupees, which would be available on finance, which would be available for them. It would lessen the amount of physical labor that it is, and it would enhance their productivity, bring down the cost for the person who is wanting to get these stuff shipped. And thereafter, we are also coming out with another, it is a first in the world. It is an electric harvester.
Okay.
I have filed a patent for it. The patent has been published already. And this is actually, if you are aware of that, harvesting of things like paddy, wheat, bajra, jowar, soyabean, lemongrass. These are a very, very difficult thing to do because what happens, it takes about 3, 4 people to do it, and it takes an entire day, and it costs about anywhere between 1,500 to 3,500 rupees farmer to harvest 1 bigha.
Okay.
Now, with this harvester, one person would be able to harvest 1 bigha in 1.5 hours at a cost of 50 paisa.
Okay.
So, yeah, and we are positioning it in terms in line with what the government wants. They want an Atmanirbhar Bharat, we want an Atmanirbhar.
Yes.
So that is another thing that we are coming out with. We will also be coming out with, within the next 6 months, a mini tractor. Now, this is going to be a multi-utility vehicle,
Okay.
wherein a person would be able to carry 3 people for transportation.
Okay.
He would be able to carry about 100 to 150 kgs of vegetables or grains from one place to the other. And it will also be a tractor by which he can plow his field.
Okay.
Okay. So we are actually essentially, our idea is to look at areas where this technology can benefit the common man, rather than focusing on areas where it is more about style and more about the style portion and stuff. We are essentially looking at areas where this can actually impact and improve the condition of the people who are using it, so that our technology can become a vehicle of social change in that sector.
Sir, I would like to share this, that after a very long time, I have been interviewing a person, like, those who actually want to help out there where it is actually needed. Like, people are, there are people who are creating websites and stuff, but then no, that is actually needed, farmers and stuff. You're helping them. It's great.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Sir, lastly, I want you, if you want to share something with your viewers or our viewers, it would be great.
I think we all have to come together, and we are facing a very difficult situation at this point in time, and we need to all be very conscious. We need to come together, help each other, and we definitely will get out of this. And once we are out of it, we should actually remember this time, and remember this time, because this time actually has taught us that it is important to think about others. It is important to take care of others. Uh, it is important to be sensitive, which we as a population had forgotten. We used to be on a very short fuse, and we used to get irritated and agitated very quickly. And now, as you see, we are all inside our home, but it is so good to see that if you hear that somebody has a problem, then people flock to help that person.
True.
So that is something, yeah, that is something that we should remember and make it a part of our life to be like that, because then we solve 99% of the problems that are there in life.
Sir, great. Sir, thank you so much for joining with us, and we are very thankful for you to joining with us for this interview. Thank you so much.
I am very thankful, Tanvi, that you considered me good enough to interview me and share it with the other viewers. I hope the interview that we have had will have a change in terms of the way people think, and
Sure, sir.
I'm into that.
Yes, sir. Thank you.